Welcome back everyone to another deck profile video. Today we're going to be doing an updated version of FA. So the last time I did a deck profile for this, I believe the deck was quite different, but in this particular variant I think that we are moving to a more logical standpoint now. And you know, I've emphasized this in a very older video, an older Reaper cast video, where I said that I would be switching my playstyle to a more logical one. I believe that for FAs, this is the most logical one I got. It's also reminiscent to one of my deck profiles for FAs that I did back in May, I believe. So it's going to work similarly in that style, which means I won't be doing a test hand for this particular deck profile here. I will actually leave an annotation just right here, so click that link and it will take you to one of my test hand videos that is for this exact same build, I guess, that was released back in May, but it is still different from this deck. So just a few slight changes to adjust to the ban list, of course, from that time to now. But at the same time, the playstyles are so similar that after playing this deck a few times, the test hands were way too similar to the previous, and I just didn't want to do a repeat video for the test hands because it just seemed very similar. So just check out that test hand video that I have in the annotation above, and yeah, this deck is going to still work in the same way. Okay, so to begin, we're playing only one copy here of Dark Dragster. This might be a big surprise to you. This has never been done in any FA deck profile I've actually done before. Decreasing Dark Dragster down to 1 is quite a big change, but it's something I really thought was the logical move, simply for the fact that I really just didn't want to break myself, and I felt that if you have 2 copies in the hand, you're really causing the situation to get worse, and I really just thought 1 copy would be enough. I don't know if that is a good idea for what you guys think, but this is something I've been testing out for about 3 or 4 weeks now, and it's been working really amazingly for me. I've had no issues where I didn't have enough of this. I always had it when I needed it, which was definitely really great. Of course, we're also going to be playing the 3 copies of Hang On Mark, still the staple of the deck. We can't really decrease it. We're still playing 3 copies of Whip Crosser, and of course we're still playing the 3 copies here of the Auto Navigator. Really amazing cards. These ones will always remain staples at 3, whereas the Dark Dragster was the new change I implemented. Moving on, we're playing 2 copies here of Hoppier Squadron. This card was a card that I had recently implemented into the deck, and so far it's just a really amazing card. Synchroing from the hand is just something that makes synchros so fun to begin with. So having 2 copies of this is yeah, it's been working out. I wouldn't really decrease it, I wouldn't increase it either. We're also playing 2 copies of Tetherwolf. If you guys recall from the previous deck profiles, I used to play 3 copies of it, but I decided to actually decrease it down to 2, and that's because I wanted to actually make room for a lot of other stuff. Don't get me wrong, it's still an amazing card. Going into a level 7 is really important for this particular meta. Which brings us to our next card. We're playing 1 copy each of the Dragon Rulers. We have here Tempest, and of course we have his counterpart, Lightning. Both are definitely really great cards. Obviously the main goal is to bring out Tempest. The original reason why I took it out in the first place from my previous 2 deck profiles maybe was because this card banished off my resources, and I kind of didn't want that to happen. But recently I just felt that this card, the advantages definitely outweighed the disadvantages, and because of that I opted to put this back into the deck again, and it's been working out really amazingly. A really new addition to the deck we're playing is the Psyframe engine, I guess, the Psyframe Gamma engine. This is just really great because think about this for a second. The FAs are incredibly difficult to draw into, at least the ones that you're meant to normal summon. You only have two targets. You have Whip Crosser and you have the Hang On Mark, and then you also have 2 copies of Tetherwolf. That's 8 cards that you could actually normal summon. Technically you could also summon out the Auto Navigator, but that has 0 attack, so you really have to rely on the 4 level 4 monsters. Or no, not the level 4, you have to rely on the 8 level 4 monsters. That's what I was trying to get at. And if you don't have anything, then your field's mostly going to be empty, and why not just take advantage of that disadvantage in the deck and play Psyframe Gamma? It definitely works incredibly well, and yeah, it just works out really well since sometimes you'll get situations where you just have nothing on the field and this just goes off. We're also deciding to actually play 2 copies here of Nibiru. Nibiru is absolutely amazing. I love this card so much, and if I could play a 3rd copy I might consider it, but for the time being 2 copies has definitely helped out this deck quite a bit. You're really gonna have slow turns and you may as well just have something that can disrupt your opponents, and I think Nibiru is absolutely amazing here. I might even consider putting in a Kaiju to, I guess, disrupt the opponents more, or to deal with their big monsters that are really difficult to deal with, particularly that, I guess, the new Dark Magician Red Eyes fusion monster. I just really don't like that card. I've been taking on that card for maybe, I don't know, 20 to 30 times in a row now, and yeah, I don't know, my luck is just really bad. I keep going up against players who are actually playing that particular deck. Alright, so onto the spells. We're playing 3 copies of City Grand Prix. No questions asked. Let's move on to Off-Road Grand Prix at 2 and Circuit Grand Prix at 1. At this point, I've done way too many deck profiles that stuck to this same ratio. I'm not going to explain it any further. We're also playing 3 copies here of Test Run. Again, similar situation. This time I did decrease the copies of Downforce down to 2 because it just didn't come up as often anymore. So yeah, hope you guys found that to be a bit of a huge difference for the deck. But we're also playing 2 copies here of Pit Stop as well, meaning I've decreased the number of Downforce to increase the number of Pit Stops, and I wanted to have a bit more consistency for the deck rather than to just go for the cards I really needed, because at this point I was actually thinking, if I'm gonna play 1 Pit Stop, I might as well just drop it down to 0. So I figured, you know what, let's just increase the copies of Pit Stop to 2, but to make space we decrease Downforce down to 2. Of course, we can't ignore the one-offs. Caught by the Grave, 1 for 1, set rotations, still just pretty much a staple at this point. Monster Reborn, Mind Control, but the main thing is we want to end things off really crazy, and we're going to be playing 2 copies here of Pot of Desires. Yeah, pretty insane, right? I mean, this is just a really risky move, but at the same time it's also logical. You might think that this card is kind of counterintuitive or goes against what I'm saying, but Pot of Desires has been played in competitive decks for quite a while now, so it's not necessarily a bad move. If anything, it gets me to my combo cards a lot sooner, and it absolutely helps out so much for the deck. I would not play Pot of Extravagance because you still need the extra deck. Alright, so onto the extra deck. We're playing 2 copies here of FA Star GT. Does come up a bit more often in this particular scenario. However, 2 copies is all you really need. We're also playing 2 copies here of Motorhome Transport, and we're playing 2 copies here of Dawn Dragster. Dawn Dragster is one that we go into the most often. It's one of the main cards that you will always be going for in terms of boss monsters. Now, next we're playing here Star Eater, we're playing Leo, Omega, Black Rose, and Clearwing Fast Dragon. And we're also going with these cards here as well. So 2 Linkarebos, a Great Fly, and a Deco Talker. However, this was a deck that I've been playing on YGO Pro, so I haven't had the chance to update my real deck at all, since I haven't actually been going out to play. I've just been playing on YGO Pro and testing out these things. And what I found was that I didn't really need the Omega, I didn't really need the second copy of Linkarebo, and I didn't even go into Deco Talker once at all. But these cards, they did come off as well. However, with the extra space that you got from removing these 3, I would opt to play some rank 7 monsters, because if you actually look at your deck here, we are playing Tetherwolf, which can go up to 7 because he just summons out a token, of course. We also have Dark Dragstar, which is a level 7 on summon. We also have Tempest, which is also a level 7, and ultimately this whole deck here, the field spells are going to increase your monsters Hang On Mark to 7, Whip Crosser to 7, so ultimately you may as well just play some rank 7 Xyz. We're talking Big Eye, we're playing talking Draco Sack, whatever rank 7s you could play, it just really works out well. My go-to is always just the Big Eye, but sometimes I also go into Draco Sack as well. However, I hope that you guys find that this deck actually will work out for you in the more competitive standpoint. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Don't forget to also subscribe as well for more videos like this, and share this video for anyone who might actually need help on devising something that's a bit more on the competitive side of things. However, that's it for now. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time.